Thank you.
I am MJ. I'm MJ from the Magic City of the Sunshine State. That is Miami, Florida. Thank you, Zorn and John B., my brothers from another mother. JKZ, I cannot thank you enough for what you have done for this community of love and compassion. I've been a part of the MBSR with the school system of Miami-Dade County Public School for quite some time. Started out with Valerie Zimmerman.
Yep, York.
And I'm quite sure you're aware of Miss York.
Yep.
So I have been amongst some great teachers. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
That's beautiful.
My question is twofold. There was a gentleman that asked you a couple of weeks ago, it was towards the end of one of the sessions, and he asked you about why you do what you do, and you briefly told him karma.
Yeah, the one-word answer.
Exactly. So I would like for you to elaborate on that. And the second question is, I have a countdown now, and it's a beautiful countdown. And not too far from Orlando, we just put people into space from the Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah.
So I see this, this celebration that we've been a part of for the last 3 months as a blast off, as you would always use, of all the beautiful flowers to really see what can transpire, because we have those out doing the work, the foot soldiers out doing the work, and we're holding the vision.
Yeah.
Here. And there's a lot of pain, but I am hopeful. As an African American, I am so hopeful because now the conversation is being had. We're ripping that Band-Aid off of that wound that's been here for 401 years, and we're starting to look at it. And that is hope for the future. And I ask the question all the time, what is mine to do at this point in juncture? What is mine to do? Not sitting in I sit in the pain for a while because I know the pain can turn to suffering. And we've suffered for so long. And I'm so grateful that you had the wherewithal to start to educate not only our brothers and sisters that are light complexion, but also us, because in the school system, it disregards our history. It doesn't tell us who we are and where we come from, of the great and magnificent people that we are. And there's so much self-hatred. And Gayle King had a wonderful CBS for Justice for All. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it because it really was powerful from every spectrum.
Gayle King, did you say?
Yes, Gayle King.
I will check it out.
Last night, and it said for Justice for All, and it just laid everything on the table. And the reason that I'm saying that now is because I asked myself, what is mine to do? I know I can't go to the front lines, and that's okay. Everybody has their space. But I have a child, I have two children. I have a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old, 5th grade and 6th grade, beautiful children. I love them with all my heart, and I adopted them because my brother was addicted. So there's a lot of history for our community. And Audre Lorde said it best, radical self-compassion, the poet Audre Lorde. And I beg and plead that when we're in rooms, don't be afraid. Check people. If they say off-slide comment, this is the only way that I know we're going to heal. We have to start checking each other. And we do it out of loving kindness. And we see that Marianne Williamson always said, when we let our light shine, we give everybody permission to let theirs shine. And that's exactly what's happening in our country, which has evolved into the world, because now we're letting our light shine. And now in France, in Brazil, from what has happened here with Mr. George Floyd, that Band-Aid ripoff is giving everybody else permission to let their light shine. So with that being said, I won't take up any more of your time. But with my to-do, I know, and I stay in my meditation. I let that sink in with me, and it comes. And I'm grateful for that, because I don't know what I would have done without this community, keeping me solid on the ground when everything is in turmoil. So it's going around, but I am centered, and I know there's going to be a better tomorrow. So thank you for this.
Wow. Is it MJ?
Mary Jones, MJ. I go by MJ.
Okay.
Yes, but I go by MJ.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you got to speak. And who's this?
This is my son, Jerry.
Hi there, Jerry. I'm Jon. I'm Jon. Is there somebody else there who's about to come too? Did I hear another voice? Yes. Hi there. Hi. How are you doing?
Yes.
Good, good. It's really nice to meet you both. So, do you guys meditate? Do you watch your mama meditate sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah, do you meditate with her?
Sometimes she's meditating.
Because I think that, like, you know, the younger you are, the more you are naturally meditating. So you don't necessarily need to meditate the way all us older people do.
Tell him the book you're reading. Thich Nhat Hanh.
How to fight.
With Thich Nhat Hanh. He reads passages every day, and we
Oh,
sit down
no
and
kidding.
discuss
No
how to
kidding.
fight, little passages. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The miracle of mindfulness or something else.
it's a little tiny book, how to love, how to fight.
Oh yeah, he has a whole series of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, beautiful, beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
really nice to meet them. And you know, I feel like in some sense, you've you asked some questions, but I don't think they really need answers from me, because I think you said so much that was nurturing to all of us, that you know, in some sense, that original question about, like, my one word answer was karma. You're demonstrating you know, that every single one of us is unique. And rather than falling into some kind of cliche or other, we're each finding our own way to make a difference in the world, in the midst of all of the challenges and the suffering and also the beauty, and taking care of what and who needs taking care of. They got bored fairly quickly, and rightfully so. Talk, talk, talk. But you see, you're in some sense demonstrating that one word karma answer yourself, because this is your karma, so to speak, is to be able to stand in the worlds that you stand in and unify them and bring these worlds together. And I think that's what the challenge is for all of us, is to bring sanity and clarity and an understanding of the nature of our own minds and hearts, rather than othering each other, recognizing the deep connectivity and allowing the difference to really manifest as beauty, even if we're unfamiliar with it. And that's probably a more important part of the curriculum than anything that Dade County is teaching in school. And about the blasting off from Cape Kennedy, Yeah, we're blasting off in many, many ways into new worlds, one of which is the kind of world of technology, which is amazing because those rockets actually land. They come back and they land soft landings, just like that wasn't the case in the 60s when I was first watching the rockets go up. And in terms of what's going on in the streets, which was also happening in the 60s, then not enough came of it. This is one of those moments where we have to not like just let our presencing in the street be sufficient. We have to do the hard work of transforming the inequities that are baked into our society, or we'll have another 400 years of that kind of thing, and easy for people to paper it over if it's not, right in, sort of, if the effects of it are not uh, immediately obvious in their own lives. And so that creates kind of distance and suffering that's now intolerable. If we say liberty and justice and economic, sufficiency for all, it's got to be all, or it's a disease or a dis-ease that we're seeing the horrific outcome of it from. So I just am thrilled that you're with the Miami-Dade County schools, and there's a big, long-standing mindfulness program going on there, as I understand it, and with a lot of community support and backing. And I just bow to you for it. Really bow to you for it.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you and the community. It's really been a blessing to be able to just sit at the feet of everybody and listen of all the stories and all the questions, because every last one of them have been, in some way, some form, touching and really helping get through this challenge that I know we will get through.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your conviction on that score, because we need to affirm over and over again that we will actually get through, that we will actually overcome, that we will actually transform the underlying root causes of racism and injustice, because we're beginning to see that the country cannot survive without that. We cannot live the lie and the violence underneath it any longer. It's just not viable. And how we do it, how we thread that needle, mindfulness has to be a part of it. Compassion has to be a part of it, because otherwise we'll do it with unawareness, and the unawareness will just create more delusion, suffering, and the kind of greed that drove it in this direction in the first place. It's a very, very serious moment, and I don't want to, sort of disregard the seriousness altogether, but the stakes are so huge because of the children
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and what world we are bequeathing to them. So that means that, you know, much as people might want to go to the mountaintop and just meditate in a cave or whatever their romantic notion of like true meditative bliss would be, uh, there's neither wisdom nor compassion in that if you're sensitive to the cries of the world. And it may be that you can have it both ways. You know, we need periods of renewal or sort of retreat where we do go off and are quiet and silent, but we also need to, each one of us, to contribute in whatever ways you can. And I'm just totally honored to meet you, even in this funny, way on a screen, and know that you're out there with, I'm hoping, a lot of other people in community support, bringing sanity and a certain kind of fundamental dignity to the process of educating the next generation. Because what they are going to need to know in the world they're entering into is nothing that we could teach them except how to be. Everything else that we think, their world is going to be so different from what we can imagine with the rockets landing and everything else in terms of digital technology, biotechnology, and everything. But they are going to need to know how to appreciate their own beauty and
Absolutely.
appreciate the beauty of other people who look like them and who don't look like them. And how to work together in groups, because most work is going to be like teamwork.
Yes.
And God knows whether we're ever going to go back to the way work was before, So I wish we could keep talking in a way, because I have a sense that you have an awful lot more to contribute to this conversation. And so to come back to your original point, that's exactly the purpose of this retreat, is that we will all go off and we will, by our very being and our intentionality and the love affair of this practice, however we instantiate it, will actually heal and transform the world. Just a small sort of, I won't call it a goal, but an intention that is, I think, worth affirming every day, or maybe even with every breath.
Absolutely. And I affirm it with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jon. Appreciate you.
Say hi to Valerie for me, if you see her.
Thank you so
And
much.
Olivier, and put her back on.
You have to make MBSR more accessible. That's the
MBSR?
only, more accessible, because I'm going with Jack Korn and Tara Brock in order to become a licensed teacher. And with MBSR, you got to jump through a lot of hoops. So
Yeah, well,
keep
that's,
that in mind.
thank you. I really appreciate your saying that. And I hope the MBSR people who are doing those kinds of professional trainings are hearing what you're saying, because, if I had my way, it'd be totally free.
Thank you.
And in fact, when push comes to shove, it's already totally free. And
Absolutely.
it is free in the most profound way. And we need to reduce all the barriers to the people who want to move in that direction professionally and bring it into their work. We don't want to create hurdles and barriers. And that's one of the big agendas now throughout America, to reduce those kinds of hurdles of all kinds to what people most need to realize our full potential.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for coming back on for that. That's like crucial. Appreciate that. And I'm going to pass it on.
Perfect. Thank you.